You are now tuned into the sounds of Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan, of the Big Nate Sports Talk podcast. This is episode 476 of the podcast, and we are talking Maryland football. This is game 9 of the 2025 season as Maryland football takes on Rutgers. Before we get into that, there's a few things I want to say up front. You should have seen on the Washington Commanders video that will be up, along with this video, up tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow afternoon before the Maryland game goes up, because the Maryland Terrapins play at 2:30, remember correctly. So I have this up before tomorrow mid-morning, around 10:30, 11 o'clock-ish. So you'll see both videos up. Tomorrow, work on the Ravens, and we'll talk about the Maryland women's basketball recaps. I will do the men's as well, so stay tuned in for that. But other than that, again, thank you for the support you've given me and this channel. Much appreciated. Please like, comment, subscribe for our future content. Everything you'll see in the description is below. Follow me on Twitter, Spotify. Follow my work on teambbsmedia.com, where I'm also covering the Maryland football team this year, which has been something. I'm writing for them. I haven't been in person in the game yet from a fan perspective, but covering them from a journalist perspective. But I have been covering the team, and it has been a pleasure doing that so far. It has been frustrating because the last 4 games have been something. But let's just get into Maryland football. From where this team was the last 4 weeks, it has been something. From the up 20 points and then losing to Washington, and then losing by 3 to Nebraska in the fourth quarter, and then losing late in the fourth quarter to UCLA, and then this past weekend losing at home on homecoming by 45 points. This has been something. I really don't know really where to start. For me, this team, I have seen a lot. I have seen, particularly in the second half, the play calling could be a lot better. Our run game at times has to step up. It's done that. The officiating has been inconsistent. The Washington game, for example, to be up 20-0. I don't understand how that happens. That's beyond me. I think the last time that happened was Temple, and then we got our butt whooped by Iowa and Ohio State, if I remember correctly. Sorry, those were flashbacks. That was painful. But other than that, I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, I've seen just peaks and valleys, and it's just all over the place. Special teams has taken a step back. I don't know what that's all about. Um, I'm just confused on what I've been seeing. Um, I'm seeing the defense at times miss tackles, and especially like for example the UCLA game. Uh, you know, your defense, for example, you looked really really good. You had a spy on Ewer Avelia, and you limited 25 yards on the ground, but then he throws 2 interceptions. And then after that, I mean, when you lose key players, and then looks totally different. Um, you know, then the run game, the run game looks like here, and it goes here. For example, in the UCLA game, you know, the week before, I think it was what had a touchdown against Nebraska. Don't know where that was. Um, I mean, Deshaun Williams, he led the team with 47 yards, even though the fumble, won't talk about that. But again, like we our run game has just been mildly inconsistent. Um, and when you're the ability to have a balanced attack and keep defenses guessing, this is the result. And I I just don't know really where you can go from here. I don't. And and I thought maybe after a little mini bye week, kind of would have reset something. And that didn't happen. Uh, we lost to Indiana by 45 points. That was embarrassing. Um, and I'm not going to get into this whole thing about is Loxley on the chipping block. Yes, I understand he has gotten out coached. He has to be held accountable. But with our new AD, unfortunately, has been put in this weird predicament. And I hate to say this, but Buzz Williams and even I'm going to say Brenda Freeze have also kind of been put in the box too, because um, like to start off 4-0, and you've now lost 4 straight games, and you've all lost the four losses have all been just all bad situations. That does come back on you. But as players, like that's no excuse too. Um, for example, with Indiana game, like we had no answers for them. Elijah Surratt, like he was the leading receiver in the nation. He left early and didn't come back. That didn't matter. I mean, 367 yards running the ball. That's the most all season. That's the most the Terps. That's more than the Terps had all season. 5 Hoosiers had 50 yards or more on the ground. They were better at running the ball in the first half, and Fernando Mendoza, outside the first quarter interception, was 14-21 touchdown, and then his brother came in, Alberto, like 588 yards to an opponent. And this was a defense that arguably was, I thought, looking really good. And I don't know what that was.
What was that? What the hell was that? I'm sorry the H words and the D words aren't appropriate over the airwaves, but it's going to be today. I don't know how much more of this I can take. How in God's name?
I mean, missed tackles. I mean, we saw that last 4 weeks. And then the coverages were just terrible. This looked bad. Malik Washington, listen, listen. People can say the freshman thing is an excuse, but that's a reality. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but not even 60 business days ago, people after the Florida Atlantic game, he's a Heisman. So now all of a sudden, because he and the offense they've shown regression, now he's a freshman. Now is an excuse. That's the reality, and like we should have known we were going to get into there with Malik. Listen, Malik is a talented quarterback. He is athletic. He has the arm. However, Malik to me has a lot of work to do, and this is part of growth. And yes, he will get better as he develops as a quarterback. But his footwork is egregiously inconsistent. His decision making in the pocket is egregiously inconsistent. I mean, like for example, in the UCLA game, they took everything off the top and basically kept everything in front of them. So, for example, if it was like a third and 3 or a 3rd and 4, and it's an open field, use your legs. But I'm sitting there looking like, wow. And even like he struggles to really read. Like I'm not saying he's struggling, but he's not reading defense as well. And in like 16 of 31 for 242 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. He lost a fumble. And he was 17 and 20 of those passes, 7 of them went past the line of scrimmage. And if we're being honest, the first interception he threw directly to a defender. And in the second one, he threw it in coverage. The fumble, obviously, that was just, and again, we saw this at the when he played NIU. Poor ball security. That hurt. But like again, there's always room for growth. But we can't now all of a sudden 9 games into the season and we now want to dog the kid. I'm not trying to make him feel bad. I'm just saying this is what I've seen, not just this past weekend against Indiana, but I've seen this at times the last 4 weeks. This is a reality. He is a freshman. You're going to have struggles like this. I mean, Talia Tagovailoa was like that. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but at the end of the day, I think he'll get better. But we also should know this is a young team as well. Like some of that is, but I totally understood where Mike was coming from in the post conference, and I should have posted it on YouTube. I will have it posted. He said that wasn't on Malik, that was on him, but you got to hold your players accountable. Malik should know those certain aspects of his game. You most quarterbacks know I'm not going to throw in double coverage, and also too, in fairness, guys got to know routes. If a guy's not open, okay, I can't throw that route. If I can't see anyone, okay, I got to see if I can get out the pocket. We have to hold him accountable with some of how he's been performing lately. 2 things can be true. Outside of that, the Indiana game, we only looked good for 3 drives, and that was it. Out of 55 minutes. First 5 minutes. Outside of that, we were just outplayed by the Hoosiers, period. I mean, Jameer Glasker's interception in the red zone, and we couldn't get a touchdown to that, so that was O'Hara's field goal. We tried to get in our own territory. We couldn't do anything with the ball. Punted it away, and then after that, all hell broke loose, and we couldn't get the floodgates closed. So, and you know what's funny? Shout out to Alex Loosemore. He said that out of all the opponents that they've played, that was arguably the better first half than all the other opponents. Because I think the week before they played Indiana and they were up by 60.
I mean, damn! I mean, this is some bad stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how much more of this I can take. I just don't know. This is ridiculous. Oh, Lord.
But I'm not ready to throw the towel in, but I am getting kind of frustrated because I thought by now, because especially I think it was after the Nebraska loss, they had a team meeting that Monday, and I'm the team itself, and I'm trying to understand since then what has happened. And listen, and I don't blame the student section for saying fire locks. I don't blame them. I mean, they're entitled to feel what they feel. I mean, hell, watching the game tonight against Georgetown, I mean, the student section left 5 minutes into the second half. So, like when you're playing well, everyone loves you, but when you're playing like you're not playing to your certain standards, that's just the result. That's just how it is with fans. I get it with Mike. This is the 7th year, and I know fans are, I don't think not all, but I think there's a good number of. I think there's a divide on how people feel about him as a head coach. I just am. Again, I think there's tons of context to not just him, but just Maryland's as a whole when it comes to their programs. The lack of resources, the lack of everything, all that. He's a great recruiter. He's bringing the recruits in, but I'm not trying to make excuses. It's just the reality. And firing a guy mid-season, that's not changing anything. I'm sorry, that's just not. And I get it. I mean, the 3 bowl wins does not matter at all. I get it. I respect it. But 64 players this year that are brand new. Last year, I know that team was something, but we all knew what this team was going to be. And, I think you just got to just go back and just kind of figure it out, dig deep. And I think they'll get it together this weekend. Because and again, but also too, I have to kind of give them their props, even though those 4 losses outside of Indiana, Washington up 20 points against a program that was in the national championship not too long ago. That speaks volumes. I can't sneeze at that. Okay. You were right there with Nebraska, lost by 3 points. I can't sneeze at that. UCLA, this was not the same UCLA team before when Deshaun Foster, before he was fired. That's a different UCLA team. This is just a young team that's going to go through its growing pains and its trials, tribulations. And, I think they just got to figure out who they are as a team right now. Because right now I don't think they know who they are as a team. But other than that, we let's AJ, please let's take a break because I need a Tylenol because my head started to hurt after talking. Because the 45 points, that's just embarrassing. I just don't know how to really feel about that at all. Okay, this weekend, we're on the road and we play the Scarlet Knights. We're on a 4-game losing streak, and the first 3 losing streaks we lost by a combined 10 points, and then the 45-point atrocity this past homecoming weekend. That Lord have mercy. But anywho. Rutgers, this is a team, obviously, we know last year they went 7-6. They won 4 games in the Big Ten Conference, lost 5. Greg Schiano, it's kind of the same spot. They're actually 4-5 this year. They've only won 1 game so far in the conference. It's actually interesting that they just need actually 1 win, ironically, to get into a bowl game, and that can either be us, Ohio State, and ironically, Penn State. So, they are dealing with some injuries as well. The offensive line and defense have dealing with some injuries for the Scarlet Knights. So please take advantage of that. Anywho, Athan Kalik Manis, last 2 years was at Minnesota, is now the starter. Ooh, Lord have mercy. He actually leads the conference in completions, attempts, and passing yards. I think he's almost at over 2,476 yards passing. 190 yards. No, 190 completions, excuse me, and like 306 attempts in passing. But again, like, he is a quarterback that will not how can I describe him? He is somebody who he is not afraid to drop back and let it fly. Because he leads, he kind of reminds me of Geno Smith. If that makes sense. I'm not saying like in a way of in terms of the deep ball. I think he leads a Big Ten an average of 10 yards and more, but he leads a sack with 29, taking 29 sacks. So KJ Duff, Ian Strong, I think are good receivers because especially. KJ was actually a tight end, and I think really he kind of reminds me a little bit like Isaiah Likely a little bit, but he's a little bit more bigger than Isaiah. But his size obviously is something that makes defenses. I'm curious to see how they're going to defend him for sure, because he is right now leading the Big Ten in receiving yards. He's second in receptions, if I remember correctly. And obviously, we all know with Ian, he is right there. He has the speed. He's not as strong down the field, but he kind of opens up. Well, excuse me, he's strong. He is kind of that speed threat down the field, which kind of, because obviously the defenses give more attention to KJ than they do Ian. So it's going to be interesting to see how we're going to contain the 6'3" Ian Strong defensively. So we got our hands full. We got a 6'6" converted tight end and a 6'3" wide receiver. Oh my God. And then obviously my guy, Mr. Eric O'Neal, this is his last year, if I'm saying that correctly, because he leads the team actually in tackles this year. The boy can play. Eric, he can he can produce anywhere on the line. I don't know if it's on either sides of the edge, in the middle. Eric is just one hell of a defensive end, and I think, is their best defensive player, in my personal opinion. And you people could fight me on that. If there was a guy, if I was a recruiter and wanted on my team, Eric O'Neal is the first person I call up. His I know he averages about 2.5 sacks a game, but those, and again, he's on a front four that's star studded, but he is good. So his 28 pressures, he leads the team in that as well, and it's like, I looked on the website for them, it's like by a margin. So for me, like I said, the deep ball offensively is their bread and butter. So I'm going to be curious to see how our secondary will be tested, because Dante and Jameer will be definitely tested for sure. Defensively, obviously, we all know that they're dealing with some injuries. I'm curious to see how they'll do, because they're allowing over 30 points a game, which is second most in the Big Ten, and have only generated one turnover in a game as a defense.
Mm-hmm. I can't defend that. What do you want me to say to that?
He didn't even try.
I mean, this is some bad stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how much more of this I can take. I just don't know. This is ridiculous. Oh, Lord.
So that's going to be interesting to see. This go against a defense that really has only generated one turnover, but it allows over 30 points. And that's something to watch. But by other keys, I'm looking at our defense. I think our defense I think this is a reset for them. Zaire Mathis, he missed the UCLA game, and we played one snap against Indiana. So hopefully he should be good to go. I'm looking for them, especially our front four, to get going early. Our run game. Pep Hamilton. I'm going to hold him accountable. While I think we hold Loxley, Mike's feet to the fire, and in fairness, and some of Mike's hires for offensive coordinator have been highly suspect. I could see why Pep Hamilton has really it's just not what I thought he was. I was really kind of like, oh, great, because his play calling is really, really something. I just don't get it. And you got to get the run game going early, sir. You got to, because I don't understand how 1 week it's just not consistent. I'm hoping this is a bounce back game from Malik, and hopefully get him going, his confidence. But more importantly, I think for just the team overall. Like, I'm not talking about the game this past weekend. I just think more of this last 4 games. I think you it's before this Indiana game, losing by 10 points those 3 games, but then this, and then I think just kind of seeing the struggles. I think also seeing the criticisms via social media, all via social media. Those things can wane on you mentally. And the thing again, I'm going to emphasize this. Do not think for 1 second players and coaches do not see those things on social media. Just saying. And I think also too, you got to play a strong second half, particularly the fourth quarter. It is essential to play strong all 4 quarters, but the second half is always the key. We cannot have a poor fourth quarter, because if that happens, it's game over. We just need 2 wins to be bowl eligible. That is it. I just need 2, fellas. We got Illinois on the road, which I think that's a W. I don't know about Michigan State. Well, excuse me. We play Michigan at College Park, and then Michigan State on the road. So if we get Rutgers, I just need 1 more win between the last 3 teams, and we get to a bowl. I just need 2 more wins, fellas. As an early Christmas present and an early birthday present. My birthday's not until December. I'm praying for 2 wins. It starts tomorrow. Do you see this? Raise high the black and gold. Like, we fellas, like, come on. Maryland, we're behind you. Like y'all, we got to come out there with some pride. Like, we're on the road. I'm coming out there. I'm setting the tone early. Like, I'm letting people know I'm in the room. Like, Malik, remind people who you are. Nolan Ray, remind people who you are. Zaire Mathis, Sidney Stewart, like, remind folks what Maryland football is. Remind us where we were the first 4 games of the year. Let them know that we're not frauds. Let them know that, okay, they got together. And Mike, also too, make sure that your coaches are par and they're ready to be coached. They know what they're doing. Because what I'm seeing so far, I'm not liking it. So I think they'll be ready. Maryland beats Rutgers 35-10.
Guaranteed.
I'm confident. I'm standing on business with that. They're going to do it. I just need this win, and I need 1 win between either Illinois or Michigan State. Because if we can get, I'm you know what? I'm not going to go there. AJ, let's just go to one final thought, please. Let's just transition because.
Thoughts are running through my mind. Someone took some time to find a minute or 2 to organize.
Okay. I'm gonna end this episode on a very somber note. Marshawn Nealon for the Dallas Cowboys tragically took his life this past, or was found dead, early Thursday, and apparently it's in a suicide. Following a high-speed chase. According to the reports, wherever the Athletic, there was a call to do a welfare check. There was a concern pretty close with his girlfriend, especially my understanding he's been dealing with a history of mental illness. They're trying to reach out to his agent, all other different things like that. He said that he had text the group chat, different, it was like a by text message. And that family members received the same thing. And I just want to send my thoughts and prayers to his family, his girlfriend, and then the Cowboys, because again, like it was weird. Like Monday, they blocked the punt and he scored that touchdown, and then to hear Thursday morning that he took his life. It's you just don't know what a person is going through. Like we're all human, and like you just don't wish that upon anybody. Because you hurt for his family. Because that's especially the holidays are coming, and that's something you just don't want to wish you just don't want that wish upon anybody. I know Marshawn went to Western Michigan because he earned second All MAC honors 2023. Like he was a good little player, and they really expected him to do great things this year. I thought he was always going to be a good defensive player on the defensive end. So I mean, to just hear that, it just like damn. Because I know, especially I think after he got drafted, I know he talked about his mom, but his mom meant to him, and again, it just sucks. So yeah, so I just I say all that to say, ladies and gentlemen, please check on loved ones. And friends, family, doesn't matter, because you just don't know what a person's going through. Because you may never know. And especially with everything that's going on around us, and I get it. There's a lot of things that are beyond our control. There's some things that will take us to our limits, but I just encourage each and every one of us to just reach out, just say, hey, I'm just texting to see how you're doing today. I hope you have a good day. That I don't think some people understand how that can just change a person's day like that. A phone call. Hey, what's up? I just called to see how you was doing. That could instantly change somebody's day. I'll give you a great example. There was a lady at a job that I worked. Ironically, this past Thursday evening, she had mentioned to me that her brother had passed away, and obviously, this is somebody who is obviously in school, trying to graduate, and just you could see the emotional and mental stress on her, and she just needed somebody to talk to. And even after our conversation, I said, ma'am, also too, I just want to let you know that here on campus, we also have a mental health center where, we have grief counseling, and we also have this 24/7 counseling service where if you ever need to speak to someone, it's free. please utilize it. And she was very grateful for that. Not too many, and she was very, I didn't even know we even had that on campus. And, she was very grateful, thank you for, hearing me out, all the different things like that. But my point is just like, it's little things like that, So, again, my prayers to Marshawn's family. It sucks. And, for me, as somebody who's myself, who's dealt with mental health and at times struggles with that and tries to find a balance and tries to seek to find things to make each day the best that I can make it. I look to one thing for me personally. I always look to prayer. I look to those that I find help give me peace and comfort, whether it's friends or family. But more importantly, I think knowing how what my strengths and weaknesses are and how I can and what I need to do to be better. But again, if you're ever going through a moment or struggling and you need someone to text or X, Y, and Z, again, I encourage you to please reach out to the Suicide Crisis Lifeline. Again, they are 24/7, great resource. But also please don't hesitate to reach out to friends and family, because like that could really change a lot of things. And mental health is real. I know people, some don't want to hear that, but that is the reality of life, because you just don't know what a person goes through. And again, we all come from different places and we all deal with a lot of stuff. And, unfortunately with Marshawn, he's dealt with his mom passing away and, and other things like that. And again, from Monday night guy, from a block punt return, training for a touchdown, to hearing that. And that's just fresh. I still can't process that, honestly. And I know that for the Cowboys, they had grief counselors at the facility for them. I know they asked to talk with Michael Parsons about it as well. But again, just thoughts and prayers. But yeah, man, that's just all I would say about one final thought. But again, thank you for tuning this episode for Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Oh, also too, I forgot, thoughts and prayers out to Doug Martin, his family. Doug Martin, former running back for the Buccaneers, he passed away not too long ago. I want to say it was back a couple weeks ago. Arthur Jones, oh my gosh, former Baltimore Raven. When I heard about that, the first person I thought about was Chris Jones. And Arthur, I know, is Super Bowl champion with us, and he went to play for the Colts. Just praying for their families. But again, I look at it from the perspectives that I have learned over the last few years is, one, taking one day at a time, and utilizing your resources. And again, it's never easy. It's never easy. Each day it's going to present something very, very challenging. But we do have the strength to overcome anything that is put in our path. Sometimes we may need a little help along the way, and that is okay. There's no shame in that. So again, prayers out to Marshawn's family, his girlfriend, prayers out to Cowboys Nation. And that's going to conclude this episode of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Thank you for tuning in this episode. Please comment, comment, and subscribe for our future content. You will also find this podcast on Spotify, and please consider subscribing for that. And also, you can follow my work on teammbsmedia.com. But again, have a good night. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And again, you matter. Check on loved ones. And also, too, take it one day at a time, and everything will work out in the end. Have a good night.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you.
In this moment, yes, I cannot say what's wrong or right. No, it's not hard to fool me. No, 'cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yes. Yeah, lead the way, I follow. No need to say. No, where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. To the edge of it all. So tell your